Good morning. So this morning I went to go work on the truck. My shock mount brackets that bolted to the side, paint never did fully dry, got messed up even worse than before. So went ahead and cleaned the paint off what I could. Going down to my buddy's place, spun wet powder coat. Does an amazing job on everything. So I gave him a shout. Luckily he can fit me in. We'll go over there, get him to powder coat my shock mounts and a few other parts you'll see in the video. Get all that knocked out. That way I can go ahead and start assembling the truck. I'm off for about 7 days, so I'm going to try to get this truck going hopefully within this 7 days. This cold weather screwed everything up as far as painting goes. It kept pushing me back. Keep having 30, well, usually around 40s temperatures here lately. So that's why I'm going in and get the powder coating done. Plus it's going to be a lot stronger than the old rattle can I've been doing. Just giving y'all an update right now. You'll see here in the next, I guess, part of the video. So I didn't get to video everything after it was all sandblasted, but here it is all powder coated. Philip over here at Spun Web did an amazing job per usual. A lot better than my rattle can paint job I had. And now I can actually install my shocks and everything, hopefully today when I get home. But yeah, he does some awesome work. Anybody needing powder coating, he's over here in Nevada, Texas, called Spun Web. He's done axles for me, he's done everything. But yeah, these came out awesome. I'm happy with it. Good morning. So today's the day we're going to start working on the truck, finally reassembling it. Gonna get the shock mounts put back on, connect to the rear axle, the front axle, connect my link bars, get everything hooked back up, put the front tires back on, maybe even put the hydraulic rim back on the front. That way I can keep everything lined up perfectly how I need it, keep these tires from wanting to wobble on me before I let it down. Here's all these new parts. Got powder coated from Philip over there at Spun Web. So put the brake hub and everything back on, or I guess the brake rotor you call it. But got a busy day ahead of us. It's gonna be fun. And powder coat brackets turned out awesome. Got them all torqued into place now. You can see the one in front at all. Yep, get everything all put in place. So I think I'm about to start connecting my link bars to the rear axle. Then I can go ahead and connect my shocks. Man, that's pretty. So working on the truck this morning, I'm starting to tear all my tarping down, getting ready to sweep everything up, clean it all up, right? Well, pull this thing down, I got all this expanded metal hanging off the wall. When I dropped it down, it's been covered obviously from all this tarping. I see something that catches my eye that I never had a problem with before. So, I'm sure y'all could tell what that is. You can see it blew through the other sheet right behind it. And let's see, where's that hole at? You can kind of see it in the foam in the back there. A little white spot in the foam. So, yeah, apparently the neighbors, I guess, decided to shoot towards my shop. And what's crazy is I remember I was probably about 5 feet away from where this is, standing by my shop door on my phone with the door shut. And I heard something like, I swear somebody slapped the side of my building. And so I ran outside looking to see what was going on, thinking somebody was slapping on my door or something. And I never did see anybody except for the neighbors running into the street, into their house. And I mean, it's pretty directional exactly what direction it came from. There's only one house over there. And anyways, I already went outside and checked, and yeah, it's a straight bullet hole straight through the side of my shop. So I'm calling it a night finally. Don't have all the parts I need. I got some parts getting powder coated, the steps and the top hat for the front axle. I was able to semi-assemble the rear. Everything just kind of mocked up. Still got to get that bolt in place, but in order to do that, I have to lift the rear axle up off the ground and slide it over just a couple inches to get it lined up in place. Got to cut down the bolts to make that fit in properly. Bolts just a little too long. But it's coming out real pretty. Got the whole ram set up, mounted and ready to go. Everything's just kind of hanging in limbo right now. Like I said, still got to get the top hat tomorrow from the powder coat shop over there at Spunweb. Get the top hat, then I can connect my top bars. One step at a time, getting closer on it. Once I get it sitting underneath its own weight, I can really start throwing the motor in and everything else. So tomorrow for sure I will have all 4 shocks on it and have it sitting right. Have all 4 roller tires going and start plumbing everything that I can. So I've been having to rig up stuff to be able to paint everything. This is the only day of some actual heat we have, 60 degrees, 65, something like that, and we actually got sun. So I was able to paint the drive shafts, brake calipers, and water pump. So getting there. You like my little rigged up setup over here? Definitely different. Got y'all another late night update. Ain't been doing too much during the daytime, so staying up all night. So far I got the transmission put up in there. Everything's set on the rear end besides the sway bar and the limit straps. Front end's all done up. All it needs is a sway bar. Getting ready to stab this 454 back into it now that it's all painted. If I can get over here. There's the transmission, turbo 400. It's got a reverse pattern, manual valve body in it. Front end set up. Just got to build the bumper also on it. And like I said, connect the sway bars. Transfer case is already set in place. 12-inch drop, reverse rotation. These are military Rockwell 2.5 ton axles. Everything's coming out pretty good. I'm happy with it so far. Nitrogens are not nitrogens. Shocks are fully bottomed out, no nitrogen in them. 16-inch CNC overtime shocks. But I'm making some progress. Gonna get this sucker stabbed in. Once it's in place, just I guess I need to finish up the limit straps in the back and maybe start running some fuel lines. I got to pull out the interior to drop the fuel cell inside and put it up underneath the cab. I got a 15-gallon fuel cell going up underneath there. So I'll hopefully have a little bit of ride time with the 15 gallons. But here's your update for tonight. Might get one more before I call it a night later on. So here's y'all's 5 a.m. update. Finally gonna call it a night. But got the 454 in there. Got everything sitting how I need it. Gonna leave that pulley cable hooked up just because the front end's not fully finished on the motor. Ran into a hiccup, which didn't realize till I started assembling all this, that the power steering pump, the whole kit that I bought for the hydraulic ram, was all made for the LS motor that I was originally going to stick in here. I had a LQ460 that was originally going in here with some 44-inch tires, till I caught a deal on the military axles and massive tires, and then I wound up going with a carbureted 454 that I did a lot of modification to. So anyways, long story short, I don't have the proper power steering pump. It's supposed to go with the kit on the motor. So now I got to figure out which one I need. And then just a couple other things. 1/4-inch aluminum plate on both sides of the motor. My bolts were not long enough. They need to be a little bit longer, so I got to get longer bolts for that. Just a bunch of little mods here and there I gotta do to make everything work. Reason why I went with the motor plates instead of just regular engine mounts like most people do. These frames are paper thin. And I did, you know, beef the hell out of the suspension as much as possible, but I wanted to make sure that motor and everything would not twist the frame as much as possible. That's why I went with the 1/4" plate front and rear of the motor. That's a lot of motor for a truck this light. That's where we're at. Limit straps, they're all knocked out and finished. So the same thing at the front, just got to connect the sway bars, which, I mean, hell, I have them sitting over here. I got to add some bracing to them, and then I'm going to have them powder coated. But here's some sway bars. I just got to throw some, some bracing up in the centers of them. And then add washers to that one like I did on here. Keep it spaced out properly. There's your 5 a.m. update. Still got to do a couple of things, but we're getting there. Got y'all a 3 a.m. update. Motor's fully set in place, bolted down. Got most of the accessories fully installed. Everything's looking pretty good. Been working on the passenger seat, got that installed finally. See if I can get up here. Now I still got to finish my roll bar. It's back in there. So I'm about to pull out both these front seats, get that taken care of. Test fitting my ratchet shifter. Tell you what, that sucker's got not much wiggle room at all, but it'll fit out perfect. Still hadn't decided how I'm gonna set it just yet. Steering wheel is gonna be coming out. I got a quick release aftermarket one going on. But shoot, it's coming along together good. Still gotta add some more stuff, modify some stuff. Power steering. Let's see, where's it at? There's my reservoir. Now I gotta find out a spot somewhere around here to put it. Hadn't quite figured that out yet. I'm wanting to keep it on that aluminum plate if I can. Being that I'm going to be putting that Lexane over there, or all boxed in on this sucker. So the less stuff I can have on the sidewall, the better. So like I said, I'm thinking about maybe bolting some type of bracket right here, making for it to where it can feed straight down to it. But yeah, it's coming along good. Starting another day on the build. Just got off a 12-hour night shift. Gonna work all day long on this thing as much as I can. Go get some plugs for down in there, for the plug up them 2 holes. Goal for today is gonna be finishing up the interior of here. Get these tack welded in place, make sure everything works out fine. That way I can unbolt them and slide it out. For the top, I've got these. It had the same style setup. I'm going to wind up running the bar from right there all the way down the A-pillar to those 2 holes. I'm going to make me one of those ocean handles. That way the halo, after I rip all that stuff down, will be able to attach to the A-pillar. I would run all the way down the floor, but these cabs are so tiny, it's going to be pretty much impossible. Because, I mean, the gas pedal's up against the wall over there. So, that's what I'm going to wind up running. I will have that entire roll bar assembly on the outside, roof rack set up. So it'll basically be doubled up. Should be good enough. But that's the goal. Like I said, get that knocked out. Probably add some more support in between here to run my 5-point harness. I also got to build a bracket to mount this setup. Let it kind of tilt up somewhere. I'll get my seat up in here, find out where I want it sitting. Get all that welded up in place, and once it's all finished, I'll knock off as much of the scale that I can, scaling on the pipe, and take it down to my buddy. Let him powder coat all this stuff black for me. That way, you know, I can get it done while it's cold. It's gonna be a lot more heavy duty than having the standard spray paint crap I've been fighting with. And once I get this out and get all this finished to go get it painted, I'll be able to access the fuel cell compartment area where I got that 15-gallon fuel cell that'll be going underneath this seat, so that I can go ahead and run all my fuel lines and everything down the frame rail up to where the carburetor is going to wind up going and everything. Do got some studs coming in for the carburetor setup. That way I can fit the nitrous plate up underneath it and everything else. That's your morning update. We'll see what we get knocked out here in the next day. What, 3 days off? Yeah. See how much I can get knocked out on here. About to order the pulley also for that, being I didn't have the correct one for the setup. There you have it. Got you another update. Didn't get everything I wanted done, but I did get the internal roll bar set up pretty much complete. All I got left to do is add in a shifter. But there you have it. Still got to pull it back down and touch up some welds and whatnot, but it's fully inked up and ready to go. I can completely unbolt the front from the rear, pull everything out, that way I can go get it all powder coated. But it came out better than expected. I like it. I'm real happy with it. Now I got a handle I can actually grab on, climb into the truck. There's y'all's little update. Got you another daily update. Got all the pulleys put on, belts put on. Everything worked out great. This is the one that I was waiting on because it's a press-on piece. I didn't have it with the kit. I actually had a keyed fitting style. So everything's in place, how it's supposed to be. Real happy with it. I've currently been working on the shifter setup. And this is what I have. B&M ratchet shifter. I've got a reverse manual valve body on the truck, so it's going to work out great. The setup that I'm using is a tubing notcher, one of the Harbor Freight ones, real cheap. I did most of this entire truck with the tubing notcher setup. Eventually it went out. I bought a new one, trashed the old one. Well, luckily I got a scrap metal pile where I trashed it, pulled it back out, cut it up, flip things around, weld stuff to it, and now I got me a pivoting ratchet shifter. So if I want to tilt it down a little bit more or leave it completely at a 90-degree angle like that, horizontal, whatever, I can. Everything's bolted together, so I'll be able to pull this all apart and have everything powder coated. So that's where I'm at today. Should be getting the hub for the steering wheel in tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, not tomorrow. That'll be coming in, what is that? It's Friday? Friday it'll be coming in. So once I get that in, I'll be able to put on the new steering wheel. And I'll be pulling this whole sucker out. I don't think I'll be pulling out today, maybe tomorrow. Pull out all this stuff, that way I can drop the fuel cell in underneath the cab and start running on my fuel lines. Get the carburetor and everything put back on it. Get this sucker lined out. But it's coming along pretty good. I'm real pleased with it. Got a little more done. Got your nitrous plate on there. Dominator 1050. Big air filter. Got that extra tensioner bracket. Installed both winches for the steps. Still got to mess with all the cable for it. You can see the fuel pump and filter setup I got going. It's that Magna Fuel 750, rated for 2,000 horsepower. Still got the regulator right there. I've got to mount it to that area. Hook it up to that fuel log on the side. Got to figure out the rest of my fuel cell setup. One's going to be return, one's going to be the vent. That's where I'm at today.